think we can go ahead and kick things off. Awesome. Welcome everyone to Zendesk Essentials. Today is the second session of a 5-part series called 5 Steps to Provide Email Support. Today's session will be on organizing your team in Zendesk. So we'll be focusing on strategies for organizing your agents and admins into roles and groups, managing customer organizations, and leveraging custom fields. We will also be demoing key Zendesk features, and we'll have some time for Q&A at the end of the session. So before we get started, just some quick introductions. My name is Shravanti, and I'm joined here by my colleague Tazeen. We are customer success managers on the Scaled Success team here at Zendesk. So our role is to ensure that customers are fully optimized with Zendesk's capabilities and that the platform works effectively to support your team's growing and unique needs and workflows. So in today's session, you'll learn how to segment permissions and users in Zendesk by using roles for employees or agents, groups for agents based on interaction types, organizations for customers, and we'll also talk about how to utilize custom ticket fields, user and organization fields to categorize and report on tickets. And lastly, we'll also talk about how to import users into Zendesk and understand a little bit more about the email channel lifecycle. So for the purpose of our demos, we will be using a fictitious company called Coffee & Co., who is a premium supplier of coffee beans with a global customer base. So as the company grows, they're looking for ways to implement strategies to effectively scale their customer support team, ensuring faster response times and more effective and efficient service. All right, let's get started. So the first feature we're going to be talking about today are roles. So what is a role in Zendesk? So roles are essentially a collection of permissions that define the actions Zendesk users can and cannot take. Each user can only be assigned one role. Role definitions in Zendesk support can differ based on the version you're using. So for example, in our enterprise plan, there are predefined agent roles, and the administrators also have the ability to create custom roles tailored to their needs. These custom roles come with specific permissions and visibility options, and we'll dive into that a bit more in the next few slides. On the other hand, Support Professional and other plans only offer a fixed set of predefined roles. So what are the different predefined roles in Zendesk? First is end users, basically the individuals who submit support requests through Zendesk's various channels. Next is agents, who are the main support staff responsible for handling tickets. And lastly, you have admins who customize the Zendesk workspace by managing users, creating business rules, and configuring your Zendesk settings to make sure that everything is working as smooth as possible. All right, so this is a simplified version of our flowchart that we covered in last week's event about planning for your setup. That session along with this one will be repeated throughout the quarter. So if you missed it, no worries. We will be doing it again. So we encourage you to join whenever it's convenient for you. So this is an example of a decision-making process for determining the appropriate level of access for agents in Zendesk. This is just a suggestion. You can adapt it based on your business's specific needs and policies. So let's walk through it. So we will start off by, or you will start off by asking, if your agents need access to all tickets in Zendesk. If yes, then it's pretty straightforward. If the answer is no, we need to determine which tickets agents should have access to. So some of the questions that you can ask to help you determine this are, does the agent work primarily within a specific team or specialty area where they only need to see tickets that are relevant to them? Is it important to maintain clear boundaries between groups to prevent information overload or accidental interference? So for example, an HR team may only want to see tickets related to their HR issues. So in that case, option A is probably the best fit, where your agents can only access tickets in their groups. The next question that you can ask is, does the agent support multiple users within the same organization but not outside that? Is it necessary to keep organizational data segmented for privacy or maybe compliance reasons? An example here is, agents might be assigned to a specific corporate client and can only see all the tickets from that organization to provide personalized service. If that's the case, then option B is probably best suited for you. And lastly, does the agent handle tickets independently without needing to see the work of other agents? Is it critical to minimize distractions and maintain strict accountability for assigned tickets? We see this when you have legal or HR tickets that are assigned to specific agents only for confidentiality reasons. Or maybe you have freelance or remote agents who manage their own queue and do not collaborate with others on tickets. In that case, this would be the permissions for you. So why is it important to set up roles in Zendesk? First off is just a better team efficiency. So by clearly defining roles within your customer support team, each member knows exactly what their responsibilities are and which tasks to prioritize. And this just leads to reduced confusion, minimizes overlap, and just streamlines workflows overall. The second is tailored access and permissions. Custom roles allow you to assign specific permissions to different team members based on job functions. So this ensures that agents only have access to the tools, the data, the ticket types that they need to perform their duties effectively, while sensitive information, for example, remains protected. And lastly, improved accountability and performance tracking. When roles are clearly defined, it becomes easier to monitor individual and team performance. So you can track how well agents are meeting their responsibilities, identifying like bottlenecks or areas where maybe additional training may be required, as well as recognizing top performers. All right, so now I'm going to jump into my demo environment and walk you through how to configure roles in Zendesk. So we'll start off by going to our admin center, and then you will see, I already have it here. You can just search for roles in that little search bar. And once you do, it'll pull up the list of all of the default roles that you have in your account, as well as custom roles that you may have created. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and create a custom role called Operations Coordinator. And the description here is that this person can manage and optimize ticket workflows inside the Zendesk environment. All right, so now for permissions, we can choose what level of permissions that they have access to. So for this particular role type, we're going to do, they can access all tickets within their brand membership, including those in private groups. All right. Next, we're going to select that they can manage suspended tickets, and they can also edit ticket properties. I'm going to check all of the boxes here. Lastly, I'm going to keep, sorry, not lastly, but for commenting permissions, I'm going to keep it private, since this role is just for, making sure that the account is properly set up and optimized, and they're not necessarily communicating with end users. They can manage ticket fields, ticket forms. They can add, edit, and delete all end users. They can manage organizations, manage roles. So as you can see, there's a lot of different fields that are customizable. I'm going to go quickly down. And the last thing that I want to do is, yes, I want to make sure that they can edit all of the different business rules that we have in Zendesk, and as well as the ability to view dashboards. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and create this role. And there we have it, operations coordinator. Awesome. The next feature in Zendesk that we're going to talk about is groups. So groups bring together team members who share common roles, skills, or responsibilities. They play a crucial role in organizing your support workflow by allowing you to set business rules that control how tickets are routed to the right people who can access or view those tickets and how those tickets are prioritized. So by effectively using groups, you ensure that the right team members handle the right issues efficiently, improving response times, support quality, and security. Some best practices to keep in mind is that when you group team members by tier levels, such as tier 1 and tier 2, to create a structured hierarchy, tier 1 agents typically handle basic inquiries and common issues, serving as that first line of defense. They can resolve more straightforward problems and then escalate more complex issues to your tier 2 agents, who possess a deeper expertise and can handle more advanced or technical challenges. This tiered approach ensures that customers receive timely responses while allowing more specialized agents to focus on those more intricate issues. Next is group your team members by functional areas such as IT, HR, and so on to support each department's unique challenges. Your IT team addresses technical issues, system maintenance, software support, and so on, while HR might handle more employee inquiries, benefits, and compliance issues. This organization ensures that specialists manage requests relevant to their areas of expertise, leading to faster resolution times and increased employee satisfaction. Another best practice is to group team members by department, such as sales or customer support, to enable a focused approach to customer interactions. Your sales team might focus on lead generation, nurturing prospects, closing deals, while your customer service team addresses post-sales support, inquiries, issue resolution types. This approach allows your team to develop specialized skills and knowledge relevant to their roles. And the last tip that we have for groups is grouping team members by language proficiency to ensure customers receive assistance in their preferred language, which just makes it a better experience overall for your end user. So why are groups important? The first is that they unlock team potential. Organizing team members into groups based on shared skill sets or interaction types ensures that each agent is assigned to the most relevant group. This targeted grouping helps leverage individual strengths, improves task allocation, and allows your team to handle requests more efficiently. The second is that it boosts collaboration. Grouping agents fosters better collaboration and communication within the team. As the team members share common goals and responsibilities, they can easily share knowledge, coordinate efforts, and just jump in to provide support to each other. And this collaborative approach just helps reduce any potential silos and accelerates problem solving. And the last is seamless integration. By designating default groups for new team members, your organization can ensure that onboarding and integration processes are smooth and efficient. New agents are automatically placed in the appropriate groups based on their roles or expertise, allowing them to quickly access the right tickets, resources, and colleagues. All right, so now let's look at how to configure groups in Zendesk. So I'm going to jump back into my demo environment. And I'm going to look for groups. So this page has a list of all of the groups that we've already created, along with the number of members in each and a description and a brief description of what each group is responsible for. I'm going to go ahead and create a new group, and I'm going to call it R&D. And basically, this group is going to be responsible for, let's see, innovating new coffee products, blends, and brewing methods. All right. And the team members I'm going to add to this are Brett and Devin, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Awesome. And there you have it, R&D group with the description and the number of team members in that group. All right. Now let's talk about organizations. So what are organizations and how are they different from groups? So organizations are a collection of your end users. So you can use organizations to group users by company or department, or separate them by product type or brand. You have a lot of different options. You can route tickets based on a user's organization to make sure customers who speak a specific language are served by agents who can speak that same language. And if you have a global support team, you can use it to route tickets to make sure that the customers in a specific time zone are served by agents in that same time zone. But it's important not to confuse groups with organizations. In Zendesk, groups are used to organize a collection of agents, whereas organizations are a collection of end users. So why are organizations important? The first is enhanced user management. When you create organizations for each client company, you can also enable users within the organization to see each other's tickets. And this expands visibility of an org support issues and should reduce the number of duplicate tickets that could potentially be submitted. The second is better routing. So you can automatically add end users to organizations based on their email domain. So once you create an organization for your client company, users are automatically added to that organization when they submit a request. And this is done based on the email domain. And lastly, improved reporting. Zendesk organizations enable businesses to generate reports and analytics specific to different customer groups. And this allows for deeper insight into customer behavior, support trends, performance metrics, and just helps leadership make more data-driven decisions. So let's look at how we can configure organizations in Zendesk. All right. So here you can see the list of organizations in this account. I'm going to go ahead and create a new one, and I'm going to call it the Coffee Cartel, and the domain is going to be, let's see, the coffeecartel.com. I'm going to go ahead and click add. Awesome. And here you can see the domain that we just associated with this organization. If you'd like, you could also add tags so that any ticket that's created by that organization would be automatically tagged. And again, this is just helpful from a reporting standpoint. If you want to see in a month, like how many tickets were supported, were submitted by the Coffee Cartel. You can also map the organization to a group so that tickets from, say, a specific organization is mapped to a specific group. And this is helpful when you have a VIP customer, for example. Maybe you want your more tenured agents to handle their tickets. And you can also add like any notes that you want to add about the company. So for example, like time zone, language preferences, and so on. All right, I'm now going to hand it over to my colleague Tazeen to talk about custom fields.
Thanks, Trav. So let's talk about custom fields. What are they? Custom fields are flexible fields that you can add to tickets, users, or organizations. They help you capture important information that is unique to your business. So this is information that the default system fields don't cover. This means you can collect, track, and report on data that really matters to support your processes. As you can see on the screen, we have quite a few different custom fields. This includes drop-down menus, checkboxes, credit card fields, multi-select options, numeric fields, regex, text fields, decimal numbers, lookup relationships, multi-line text, and date fields. So another important thing to point out is that custom fields can be used in triggers, automation, macros, views, and reports. You can make custom fields mandatory or you can make them optional. And the fields can be visible to agents and users or both, depending on your settings. And that's something that we'll discuss a little bit more in detail coming up. And admins can add, edit, or remove custom fields at any time. And this is so that you can keep everything updated as your business needs change. Yeah. So why are custom fields important? There's a few different reasons. The first one being enhanced customer profiles. So custom user fields give you a deeper insight into your customers' needs and preferences, and this allows for more personalized support. Another reason is for smoother ticket management. So your agents can easily access relevant information, leading to quicker resolutions. And then this, of course, leads to better customer experiences. And then finally, powerful automation and reporting. So these fields let you create triggers, automations, macros, and reports based on specific ticket or customer data. And this helps streamline your operations. So going a little bit more into detail with the custom ticket fields, like I just stated, they are fields that are special. You can add to your support tickets to collect important information. This helps your team manage and solve issues a lot more efficiently. And these fields can be visible to agents, customers, or both. So they make support, automation, reporting, and all your workflows go a little bit smoother. So to give you a little bit more insight on those different options, you want to pay attention to the permission setting. So the first setting, agents can edit. The setting is only visible to agents. They can view and edit this field, and it also appears on tickets, but it's hidden from customers. The next setting is the customers can edit setting, which is visible by both agents and end users. They can view and edit this field, and it also appears on tickets and in the support request form in the Help Center. And then finally, the last setting is customers can view. This is visible for agents to edit the field, but end users can only view it. And it appears on tickets and customer requests, but it is not on the support request form. And another key thing to point out, if completing a field is necessary for resolving your ticket, make sure you select the option required to solve a ticket. This ensures that agents can't close that ticket out without filling that field out. And also note that depending on the type of custom field you add, you'll have a lot of different configuration options to tailor that field to your specific business needs. Some best practices for using custom ticket fields includes keeping your form simple. Don't overcomplicate it and only include necessary fields to avoid slowing down your agents. You also want to choose the right type of field to keep your data consistent and easy to use, which we'll go over in a demo shortly. Again, make sure to use the required to solve a ticket option carefully to avoid blocking any potential workflows. Use fields that create tags like drop downs, checkboxes, or multi selects to help automate your routing triggers and macros. And then organize drop down lists with nested categories for easier navigation. And then make sure you regularly review and remove outdated or unused fields to keep everything clean and keep your data accurate. So again, a user field is a custom piece of information you can add to your customer profiles in Zendesk support. It helps you keep extra details about your customers, so your agents can see and update this information while handling support tickets. So in terms of custom user fields, it's important to remember that before you create user fields, make sure you've planned your workflow carefully. Planning ahead of time will make everything a lot smoother in the long run. And like stated earlier, we had a session last week about planning your setup. And if you have not seen that, I believe it was linked in the chat. And then we'll also send that information out after this session as well. And then finally, add custom user fields early in your process. The earlier, the better, because this lets you use that data to build powerful triggers, automations, macros, and reports. Important to note, this is available on all Zendesk support plans. And just to highlight some best practices for custom user fields, again, collect data that's unique to each user, like a license number or personal details. Don't overload your system with too many user fields. Again, don't overcomplicate it, and only include information that helps you solve, route, or prioritize your tickets better. For shared information like location or time zone, use user organizations instead of individual user fields. And then again, regularly review your records to decide which fields are necessary for your processes and which you can archive or remove. Awesome. So let's talk about using custom organization fields. So this field is a customizable attribute that you can add to organizations in your Zendesk support. To store important information about your customers' organizations and improving your ticket management. So in order to understand how organization fields work, it's important to understand the difference between that fields. So user fields are customizable attributes added to individual users, while organization fields are customizable attributes added to organizations. User fields are visible to agents and they can be visible to end users based on how you have everything configured, while organization fields are only visible to your agents. Again, important to note, always have a clear understanding of your organizations and how you plan to manage them before creating custom organization fields. So with best practices on creating these, again, focus on collective information that applies to groups like location and time zone or priority, and avoid overlapping some of this information by keeping individual user details like license numbers particular to an individual user as a custom user field. This helps prevent confusion and helps keep all of your data organized. So we can jump into a quick demo on how to create custom ticket fields. So um, Shrav, if you don't mind going to the admin center or objects and rules, and then tickets, and then click fields. So here we'll be able to add a field in the top right-hand side. Um, you click that, you'll see all the different types of fields you can select from. So for this example, we can select drop down, which is the very top on the left. And then the display name, we can type in coffee type. And then under description, type of coffee that customers is inquiring about. So um, oh, perfect, you got it. For this example, we don't want this field to be selected to solve a ticket, but if we did, we would select that box right where Shrav is hovering over. And then under permissions, we want to select agents can edit. You can see that is ticked off. So this field is for agents only. And then under values, we'll put in a few options. So Arabica, Robusta can be the second one, blend as like a third option, and then other. So you'll see next to these values that Shrav has entered, you'll see, and you'll notice how they automatically populate it. So you can edit this if you need to, but this is helpful for other features like triggers or views, and it's also helpful for reporting. So definitely something to take a look at there. But after that, we can hit save, and then this, now you'll see that coffee type has been created. Another thing we wanted to share with you is creating different types of fields. So we can select an example that's already been created. Shrav, if you don't mind clicking order number. So you'll see the field type for this option is marked off as text, even though we're collecting a number. So one thing we wanted to point out when deciding if you are creating a text field or a numeric, you want to think about if these numbers are summed up, what would that value be? So in this case, because summing up the order number doesn't really mean anything, you want to choose text. And that's something to differentiate when you're deciding which field to use. So that is one thing we wanted to point out. And then we can take a look at another example if, Shrav, you want to go back into that list of fields created. Um, and then click the requires follow-up sample. Perfect. So you'll see that there is a checkbox field that's selected under field type. This, sorry. So this checkbox field can check if the customer needs a follow-up for a coffee sample. So this adds a tag at the bottom. You'll see the field option underneath where it says require follow-up sample. This is helpful so that your agents can see when tickets like this would require like a follow-up in their workflow. And I think that's it for this slide, but we can also demo creating user fields. So Shrav, if you want to go back to the admin center and go under people. Yeah. And then configuration. And then click user fields. So this page lists all the existing user fields in the account. We want to add another field for this demo. So in the top right hand, you would click add field. And then again, you see all the different options. So for this example, we'll click text. Perfect. And then we can type in for the display name special text. Or sorry, special request. And then under description to specify any specific requests made by the customer. So perfect. And then you hit save, and then you'll have the user field created once. Oh, actually, it looks like perfect. Awesome. And then finally, we can demo how to create an organization field. So we're still going to be on this page under people configuration. Now we'll go into organization fields. So this page will list all the existing organization fields already on the account. And then we want to add a field. So back to the top right hand. And then for this option, we'll select checkbox. And then for the display name, we can type exclusive offers. And description, we can label it as receive special promotions, discounts, or offers not available to the general public. And then we can go ahead and hit save. Sorry, some of these are were created earlier, so that's why there's a little bit of like a error message popping up, but on your end, you guys should not see that. But there you have it. You'll see that the exclusive offers organization field was created. So we can jump back into the slide deck now, Shrav. Thank you for that. Perfect. So let's talk about importing users. So you can quickly add or update many users at once in bulk by importing their data using a CSV file. This method saves you from entering user information manually, and you can allows you to set roles, privileges, and organization memberships efficiently. So you can bulk import works for support users and require admin access. And it also helps streamline user management by handling new users and updates in a single process rather than doing this individually one at a time. So best practices for this, in your CSV file, you want to make sure that there are no duplicates because this can lead to some errors down the line once you import. And when updating users, it's important to note that some data will replace existing information while other data like phone numbers will be added. You want to import your organizations first before bulk importing your users. This is so that way they can be linked properly. And it's always key to to test a small batch before importing large data sets. And then also just note to disable welcome emails if you don't want users to get immediate notifications. Another thing just to point out, there's a lot of resources in this deck, so all of that will be shared with you after this event. But we can go on to the next slide. So why is it beneficial to bulk import users? So like stated earlier, it saves you a bunch of time rather than entering information one by one. Upload a single file with hundreds or even up to thousands of users. This speeds your setup up and then also allows you to focus on other important tasks. It also helps reduce errors. So using a standardized CSV format with the right headers and encoding helps avoid mistakes and ensures your data imports correctly every time. And then finally, it allows you to take control. So bulk importing helps you manage your user data efficiently, making it easier to scale your support and keep your database organized and up to date. So if you want to create a CSV file to bulk upload users, you can use a template available in our Help Center. When importing users, focus first on the required fields to ensure a successful import. So this includes things such as the name. This is always going to be mandatory for all new users, and it should be their full name. Email is also a field that you want to make sure is completed. For new users, you want to provide a full valid email address, and this is crucial because it serves as the primary identifier. Um, just a note for data importer, if you include multiple email addresses for a user, make sure you separate them with the pipe, which is the vertical key on your keyboard. And then for ticket restriction, again, applies to data importer only, but this is required when importing agents. This field controls the access level of the users to tickets, such as assigned tickets only, group tickets, or unrestricted access. On enterprise plans, you must specify an agent role instead of using this field. So just another thing to take note of. And then other fields like external ID for unique user identifiers, phone numbers, organizations, tags, and custom fields. These are all optional, but they are very useful in enriching your user profiles and improving your organization. So I know this is like a ton of information, but there's a full list of all of these fields and descriptions that's available in the Help Center article, which we'll share with you after this session. So let's talk about ticket routing. So throughout a ticket's lifecycle, both requesters and agents often need to ask questions to seek some clarification. And as agents work with tickets, they'll likely change the status of the ticket multiple times. This like changing a ticket status moves the ticket throughout different stages of its life cycle until it is eventually closed. So we can just walk through a basic example. So a ticket arrives in your instance and is automatically set to new. Then when an agent is assigned to a ticket, that is automatically changed to open. Um, the agent, if they have follow-up questions for the customer, they'll set the status to pending. And then when an agent resolves an issue, they will set the ticket to solved. It's important to note that after a certain number of days, a ticket is automatically closed and archived for later reference. Agents never manually close a ticket, and setting a ticket to close status is not an option for them. Also key to note is that tickets don't necessarily always follow this life cycle. A lot of these statuses can change just based on how complex a ticket is, so it can fluctuate between open, pending, and on hold. So it's really important to set up email routing correctly. This helps make sure tickets go to the right agents quickly so they can handle each stage efficiently. So why is it important to set up automated ticket routing? For a few reasons. First, it helps you leverage expertise agents. So assign tickets to the agents best suited to handle them. This leads to, of course, better results and happier customers. It's also important to help improve accountability. So when tickets are assigned to specific agents, it encourages ownership and responsibilities, motivating the team to manage cases well. And then finally, it boosts your customer satisfaction. Always key. Sufficient routing means that they'll get faster responses and better service, which makes them happier. Thanks, Rob. So next we'll talk about assigning tickets to a specific agent or group. We use triggers to automatically direct incoming tickets to the right agents or groups based on specific criteria. For email tickets, you can set routing rules based on the customer's organization or individual users. This ensures each ticket is handled by the most qualified team members. So routing tickets based on the email they arrive at. This means that directing incoming tickets to specific support groups according to the customer's email, domain, or support address. This approach ensures that inquiries are handled by the most appropriate team, improving efficiency and also improving your resolution rates. And now you know, we walked through a lot of things, but hopefully this helps give you a better understanding of how to organize your team using roles and groups for efficient ticket routing, the importance of managing customer organizations to better serve clients, and how custom fields can help capture vital information for improved support and reporting. So with these tools in place, your email setup is ready to boost teamwork and deliver faster, smarter customer service. And for next week's session, you will see the Build the Agent Experience webinar. Here you'll discover how to create strong email support strategy for better communication and efficient workflow. And if you guys have any questions, I didn't really see the chat, but happy to dive through it and kind of get some answers.
Yeah, thank you, Shrav and Tazeen, for that, the demos and the presentation. Can everyone hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so if anybody does have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll answer them live. Also, I wanted to mention, and I mentioned it in chat already, but after this session, you will get a post-event survey email. Feel free to fill that out and share with us any future topics that you would like us to cover. Also share any feedback that you have around how these webinars are structured, what really resonates with you, what's been going well, and what you think we can improve on. That'll really help us focus on future sessions and make sure that our customers are getting the most out of these conversations that we're having with all of you. So we'll go ahead and give it a couple minutes for people. If they have any questions, go ahead and share them in the chat. Otherwise, Shrav and Tazeen, do you have any sort of like gotcha moments or ahas that you've had with your customers around anything that we covered today? I know for me, one of the biggest things is helping customers understand the difference between a solved status versus a closed status. And customers are unsure what the difference is between the two. So the main difference is that when a ticket is solved, it can reopen if somebody does, or if your customer replies back to that ticket. When a ticket is in the closed status, you can't make any changes to the ticket itself. The ticket sort of enters like a static status where all the fields are set. And then if a customer does reply back to that email, once a ticket is set to closed status, a follow-up email should be created within your account with some context behind the previous ticket that the follow-up was created from. So that's something that I've seen a lot of customers have questions around. I see Thea has a question. What suggestions do you have regarding statuses and routing for a small company that has one lead answering Zendesk tickets?
That's really interesting. I guess if it's just one agent answering all the tickets, you want to make sure that all of those different all of the tickets that you're receiving are funneled into one view. So just to make it easier for that agent to go in and like quickly start tackling all of the issues that come in and making sure that you don't miss anything. In terms of statuses, I don't think we do anything differently, honestly. Like I think as Tazeen went over the different statuses, we just want to ensure that the agent is using them correctly. That's something that I often see with customers, is that sometimes they'll respond to a ticket, but then they'll still leave it on open, for example. And if measuring SLAs is important, then I would highly recommend ensuring they're using the right status, because that's what it looks at to track the amount of time spent on a ticket.
I would also say if there's only one agent who is working tickets, depending on how your account is set up, and there's only one agent set up on the account, I believe the ticket will automatically be assigned over to the group that they're in, since there's only one agent on the account. And then in that case, the ticket might even show up as open status instead of new, because it's automatically being assigned to that agent. I would also recommend setting up your view so that way it's showing the older tickets at the top of the queue versus the newer ones. So that way you're making sure that your customers are getting timely responses, and that specific agent isn't replying back just to the newest tickets that are being created. Does that answer your question, Thea, or did you have any other questions around that? Awesome. Any other questions? I'll also point out, I know we touched on the on-hold status a bit during the presentation. So for those of you that, if you're looking for that on-hold status, you will have to go and toggle that on in your ticket fields. By default, that is disabled, but mostly agents will use that on-hold status if they are working with a third party. Say they're following up with like a contract worker or a third party, but they don't want to set the ticket to pending. If you set it to on hold status, that kind of sets the expectation for the customer that it's being looked into, without actually having to set it to pending and making the customer think that you're waiting a response or waiting for a response for them. Another question, not sure if you were able to touch upon this issue. Is there a web notification for incoming tickets? Is there a trick to this feature? Are you talking about email notifications, or are you specifically talking about like within the agent interface? So I don't believe there's a web notification within the agent interface. However, there might be a third-party app in our apps marketplace that can do exactly what you're looking for. So let me just link you to our app marketplace.
I believe there's one called Notify by SweetHawk that does exactly that. But yeah, this is a great place to start.
And I will link to that Notify. Yep, here it is. Great question. But yeah, by default, you'll get an email note, or the custom triggers that are set up, or not custom, but the default triggers set up in your account should automatically send an email notification out to the agent that's being assigned the ticket, as well as the group, if you decide that you want to notify the group as well.
That's right. We've also seen some customers set up like a webhook to notify the team if there's a new ticket that comes in via Slack or Teams, if that's something that you're interested in as well.
Yeah, it has been helpful. I've seen with our Slack integration, you can set it up so that if a ticket hits a certain parameter, like say you have a field set up for urgent or VIP customers, you can use the Slack integration to then send out a Slack notification to a specific channel within your Slack instance, letting them know, hey, this ticket was created, somebody needs to act on it, or what's however you want that message to be.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if no one else has any questions, I will go ahead and close this out. I want to thank you all for joining. This session was recorded, so we will share out a recording before end of week. as well as any of the help center articles that were covered during this session. And then we will also share the slide deck with you as well. So if you want to grab one of the slides for your planning, you can certainly do that. But thank you all for joining. Thank you to our hosts for the great presentation and the demoing. And I hope to see you all next time.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.